And for somebody I know absolutely nothing about, other than when she found out that we were doing leadership skills training here, she said, I have some people in my Master Guide Club that would love to participate in one way or the other in your training sessions.
Awesome.
And I thought that was just absolutely marvelous. Thank you so much for doing. And so I said, as a reward for your willingness to participate, would you be willing to teach a session? And she said, of course. She's a true master guide.
And there's one reason why is I know how hard it is to get people to do something, especially last
At the last minute.
And it's like, okay, I've been on his side of the fence, so
Yeah,
if I can, I hate saying no.
We had another presenter to do this, and unfortunately, it was, no, not unfortunately, it was David's mother, but unfortunately, his mother came down with illness and could not make it. By the way, David, when she sent me the text message, I am so sorry to let you down, but I have a bad case of COVID. I sent back, I said, the show will go on, it just won't be as much fun. So at any rate, I really enjoy my association with your mother over the years. Karen, thank you so much for doing this creativity and resource development. By the way, I'm going to add something that she may or may not cover. I've taught this session several times myself.
Yeah.
I could have done all of these, but I chose not to. I had better people doing it. On resource development, one of the things I want you Master Guides to learn, in your Pathfinder clubs, document the resources that you use prior in teaching not only the basic class material, but honors. You know, some people will go through a lot of work finding resources, developing resources and whatnot, but later somebody else comes along and says, oh, do you know anybody that can teach the fossil honor? Well, we taught that 2 years ago. Well, who taught it? I don't remember. Where are the materials? I don't know. Document it. Make a binder. Do something in your club that you maintain some kind of reference material as to the resources that you developed or used over the last time period, a year or 2 years. Let's have a word of prayer. Father in heaven, thank you once again. What a marvelous thing to learn to be leaders for you, to be partners with you in a very small way, but in a very meaningful way. Thank you for Karen. Thank you for the work that she's doing with Master Guides in the Collegedale area. Training more leaders. We cannot have enough help in furthering your work. And bless her as she presents our workshop on resource development. Bless us to that end until the day we're with you in heaven. We pray in Jesus' name.
All right, thank you. I'm Karen Reed. I'm from Collegedale now, originally many 100 years ago from California, but forgive me for that.
How long have you been a Master Guide?
I got 10 years, 15 years? I don't know. I got invested up at Oshkosh.
Cool.
Oh,
So it's
very
either 10 or
good.
15. We know
So it'd be about 15 years?
I worked on it a bazillion years. Yeah, so I did.
Many of us in the room can appreciate that.
Yeah. I was glad to finally figure out, so just in case you don't know, here is Karen Reed's theory on when you look at the front of your portfolio or the manual, doesn't really matter, it says you must take at least a year to work on Master Guide. In other words, you can't do it in 6 months. If you do, you didn't really do it.
Okay.
But no more than 3 years. So I'm looking at that and going, do I have to start over?
Right.
Do I have to take the drill and marching order over?
Right.
Finally figured out what it meant. What it means is that write down the date that you started. If after 3 years you haven't finished and the conference has added requirements, you must do whatever additional requirements or changes have been. So that, it's like, oh, that's logical. it makes sense. So from whenever you started, 3 years later, you can stay on that track, even if they've updated Master Guide. You don't have to do it, but you better finish in 3 years, otherwise you're gonna.
There's your incentive to get
That's
done.
your incentive. So to me, that's what it makes sense, and I have a number of friends who work at the NAD, and so I run these things by them. Sometimes it helps to know people. So this is not the title that was in your thing, but this is the title that should be in your portfolio,
Right.
Creativity and Resource Development. And I'm going to be honest, the thing that sparks my interest is creativity.
Yes.
Right.
I want you to have no, I'm not going to hand you creative resources. I'm going to teach you how I find creative resources.
Cool.
A number of years ago, I did a newsletter. It was called for the Georgia-Cumberland Conference. It was called Pathfinder Pathways. It was a minimum of 4 pages, and it would have ideas on teaching and honor. It would have recipes. It would have a hike of the month. It would have knots, some way of teaching a knot or learning how to do a knot. And the very front page was an inspirational story, okay? One day I was at, I don't know, Directors Council or something, and I asked the directors, I said, please share with me ideas of what you've done that helped you teach something, or that was just something, it doesn't even have to be yours, but something that made something more interesting, an honor, an investiture achievement required. One of the area coordinators, bless her heart, she said, oh, you're doing a fine job. That is not,
Creative.
that is not a good job. That's not saying, oh, attaboy, you've got it together. That's saying, I am too lazy to tell you an idea that I have. But there's how many people? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Think 16 people in this room right now. If every one of you had one good idea, that's all you need, one, and shared it, think about how many, and we would just have inundated. He absolutely hit it on the nail on the head about keeping records of resources, having some sort of resources. You're the director. You've been a director. Any other directors in here? Yes. So think about it. What happened when the director before you left? You're starting over again, and everything that was in their brain is gone if they did not pass it on.
Until you hear somebody that says, well, why don't you have so-and-so teaching that? They did it forever.
Exactly.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Now, we have actually done exactly what you've said. We have in the club a spreadsheet
Okay.
with people's names, the honors for local, who can teach it, resources. So I am old, granted. However, I am a computer geek, and I love learning stuff on the computer. But let's get through this stuff so that some of the stuff I'm going to show you how you can find your own resources. Now, granted, I'm really sorry for you high school kids. I'm thinking you probably know how to do some of this better than I do. That's okay. But some of us are not quite so young. My job, I used to work my job before I retired, I was the corporate industrial hygienist. And everybody goes, oh, you make sure they brush their teeth? No. They wash their hands? No, don't care. I did industrial health, hearing, chemicals, ergonomics, big words. Nobody knew what I did, so it was all good. But I did a lot of research, and that is what doing resources is research on cool and ways to do things. So, but the objectives that are given us by the NAD was to provide a knowledge of the way individuals learn and assimilate information. We're not going to cover a lot of that, but there is a little. Give opportunities to discover the value of appropriate resources for teaching the curriculum. To provide information on the value and significance of creative worship segments. We're not covering that at all because David's already covering it. So that the crossover is like, not covering that. You've already got that. So the ways, so an explanation is in 4 different areas to be covered. Developing creative teaching resources and developing creativity, my English is really good, through AY honors. So those are the things that we're going to cover, just so you know. And the reason I gave you the handouts is, and with blanks, so you can take, one of the you didn't get any?
No, I was just saying, you're supposed to be taking notes.
Because one of the requirements is you must have any notes you've taken, and sometimes it's only going to be a paragraph, and sometimes it's going to be more. I don't care. If I see notes, then I can sign off on stuff for people. So have you ever sat in church listening to the pastor only to realize that you don't remember a word that was said? That's never happened.
Never in David's service.
I'm watching this.
Have you ever read a book only to realize that you didn't absorb any of it? One of the things you guys have a lot of reading to do, and I worked on PLA and PIA, which is different tracks, but it also has a lot of reading, so I was listening to it. And it happened to be, I believe, Patriarchs and Prophets, and it was like, I just finished a chapter, and I was listening to it, had no idea. So I listened to some chapters multiple times, because it actually, at the time of when I was doing it, things that were happening in the world, it was extremely pertinent, and I did find it fascinating. So how about having difficulty concentrating? Oh, we're going to change, I should change that word to school, work, wherever you need to be concentrating. So different people learn in different ways. So the 2 basic ways that people learn is through information and through experiences. So what are we getting here right now? Information. We're not having a fantastic experience, although it could be, who knows?
We are learning through other people's experience.
Yes. So perception process, we all perceive things differently. Some feel their way through things and focus on the actual experience, while others look at things more logically. They analyze what's happening and reason through it. So if you think about how you learn, you can probably pick out how you learn best. And one of the requirements is to take a temperament test. We're not doing that, but that's another one of the seminars. And I've given all of my Master Guide candidates, it's the one where they're sanguine, melancholy. I've given them the test to do, and then we're going to discuss it when we have that meeting. And just in case anyone's wondering, I am like 90% sanguine. Yeah. I thought I would change after I became Pathfinder Director, maybe be a little bit more choleric. No, didn't happen. So there's different ways to learn. And there is classes that you can take that will teach you, if you're interested, more how, so if you're, with your kids. So if you have some kids that are just fascinated by everything, they're probably going to be a lot easier. But if you can kind of pick out how they learn the best or how they get through your meetings the best, it's going to help you as a counselor or an instructor or whatever you are following. I mean, whatever you're trying to do with the kids that day. Verbal, using words both in speech and writing, reading aloud. Some kids, all they're going to hear is wah, 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 wah. Logical, uses logic reasoning to understand concepts. Social, they enjoy learning in groups, work together as much as possible. That's not my way. I don't, get me in a group, no, I don't want to. I may eventually, it's not my way. Solitary, I like to do that, prefer to learn alone and through self-study. I actually like learning stuff on my own. But we are all different and none of them are wrong. So use a variety of different ways of teaching. Mix it up. Get the kids involved better. Use a variety of creative resources. Discussion. Teenagers and young agers like this. A Q&A. Ask a question, get answers back. Participant demonstration. Fun skits, but make them meaningful. Guest speakers. I actually especially like that one. Quiz sessions. Computer games, Kahoot. I'll be honest, I don't know anything about Kahoot, but I have one counselor. He used it with his 8th graders, and it's the only time they can bring their phones in. They love it. Quiz up, are you smarter than a 5th grader? I am pretty sure I am not. And social media in moderation. But mix it up. I mean, if you think about this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 9 different ways of teaching, and I've already lost one of you. So, but it didn't work. So, mix it up. But if you plan out, and I'm a huge proponent of planning out your year. At Collegedale, we are not as big a club as we have been in some years. Some of our units are as big as clubs. They have multiple counselors, and if you can plan out your year ahead of time, different ones of the counselors do different things, guest speakers. If you have it planned out, then you can really make the year easier on you, easier on your co-counselors, and more fun for the kids. So most people break learning up into 3 different categories. Visual, they prefer pictures, images, diagrams, colors, videos. Auditory, music, rhythms, recording, rhymes. Yes, that works. I would get it.
I'm that,
but,
so I know.
Tactile or touching something.
Working with their hands.
This is kind of crazy. As a teacher for many years, most of what we do is visual and auditory.
Yep.
I had a kid one time who was extremely tactile. And anything that we would talk about, he just, like a raccoon or a monkey. He just had to. And even when the other students would make fun of him, it didn't matter. If I had something that was an object lesson, he couldn't help himself but to come up and want to investigate it. The only reason I'm saying that is we do have our different styles, sometimes very heavily one way and another. But the more we use all of them as a teacher, the more we have a chance of reaching.
Exactly. And that's why it's important to know that you're going to have some of everything. And so the kids, if you've got a heavy activity-based activity with using their hands or something, the kids that maybe learn by listening may not do as well. I have discovered, how many of you like Legos? I was quite shocked at Christmas. I come from a really large family, and every Christmas, each family, I'm the oldest of 8, each family, we decorate a Christmas table. We rent out this community center, and everybody gets a table to decorate. My niece, who's 40, she decorated, her whole table was all Christmas decorations made with Legos. I tried one time, bless my heart, to put together a little bit of Legos. I couldn't get 2 pieces together. It's not, I don't think I'm the last one there. I must not be, because to me that's where putting all that, I would never make an engineer, but she loves it. She has little boys, I guess she does it with them too, but she's like, oh no, they can't touch this. This is mine. And she's a nurse by trade, so she goes, I love Legos. But that would be touching something more tactile. So your preferred method of learning may not be the same as what your kids are. So, you know, who knows, have 3 counselors and 1 of each so that you can cover everybody.
Very cool.
So it's always best to incorporate many learning styles. More styles means more learning is accomplished. And it helps to imprint, repetition helps get it into your brain. But you don't want to repeat stuff so much that your kids are all falling asleep. And there are many things that can help make a lesson more effective. I have to find my thing here. So, using classroom style. Now that one can be kind of boring. I mean, we've sat in here 3 days, hopefully, because we've had 8 different instructors mixing it up. Every one of us has had a different style. But with the classroom, think about your kids. They've been in school, well, we meet on Wednesday night. If you meet on a different day, it may not be right after they've sat all day in school, but it can be boring if they're doing that. A video, that's fine as long as it's not overdone. Don't be plopping your kids down in front of a video because you didn't take time to plan. You could maybe work with your kids, make your own slideshows. I mean, we all have smartphones nowadays. Take pictures. Make their own, have them, they're probably going to make a better slideshow than we are. From pictures that were taken while working on an honor. For example, if you're out, working on the flower honor, take pictures, ferns, fungi. Those would be things that we'll talk about this in a little bit, but the collections, have them do a slideshow of what they've done and identify them. That and PowerPoint and slideshows really kind of goes hand in hand. Have them put together a PowerPoint presentation to show the others in their unit. Or a few years ago, my nieces wanted to work on an honor, and I didn't have time. I didn't live, we worked together. And I had both of them put together a PowerPoint showing that they'd earned the dog honor. Did they do a great job? No, they were probably in 6th grade, but they did identify the number of dogs that they needed to. They needed to earn honors on their own, and they did that. But definitely with any of them, don't overuse. And then guest speakers, bring in guest speakers, because those, if you can find those master guides that are, not doing anything, encourage them. They may have a specialty that you don't even know about. So be creative. Learning can be enjoyable. Students learn to love what they enjoy doing. And making it creative makes it fun to learn. Try several things and don't be afraid to attempt new things. Now, I love doing new things. They don't always come out like I thought they were going to. I have found that I had activities all planned out. We were going to get done in the hour and a half we had. The kids were going to be fascinated. And it did not work out that way. But you just keep trying. Don't give up. I hit a home run teaching the tie-dye honor. I've got it down. I know what I'm doing, and the kids seem to enjoy it. But it took a while. So you don't have to be an expert to teach certain honors. However, you should at least get some knowledge. Have a basis of the subject. Do your research, don't just wing it. Anybody here taken the Dutch oven honor? I helped write it. I helped write it.
Really, that's so cool.
And by the way, by the time it was written, I still had never used one.
Get out of here.
No, I'm 100% not lying. We did a demonstration at Camporee, and for those who know Joe White, he wanted me to do it. It had been written, it had been approved. So he said, well, can you do a demonstration? So we were only going to make cobbler. Okay? Easy peasy. And I said, we were done. It was like, everybody loved it. And he said, I said, Joe, that went really well. well, for never having done it before. And he goes, you mean for never having done that recipe? I said, no, I've never used the oven before. No, but I had learned what I needed to do. I had a knowledge base, and it worked well. I didn't just wing it. I knew what I was doing. I just hadn't actually done it.
You wrote a theory.
Yes. Yes. When you teach a class, section or honor, you will probably teach based on your experience in that area. Every one of us has different experiences, and I can't teach based on your experiences. I only can teach on what my experience is, what I've read, what I've learned, what YouTube videos I've watched, but it's all mine. So sometimes it's really good to get two people in because you're going to have two different points of view, and it can be, most of the time, pretty amusing. If you're new to teaching, then you may need to call upon more experienced teachers and get their help. Even with YouTube, I can promise you I'm not teaching Legos. It is never happening. I'm not teaching physics. I know nothing about physics. That's one of the few classes in academy I ever dropped out of because I was too confused. So building, and this is what Ron has said, yes. A resource file. If you're a paper person, make sure it's in paper. Put it in a notebook, spreadsheets. But then you've got to share that stuff with other people. I have an extensive Pathfinder folder that goes back to, we're not going to say how long it is because it was really old. But some of the stuff I've scanned in from other people. I've given our club, one of our deputy directors, she has access to it. So if something happens to me, she has access to 35 years of Pathfinder stuff. Some of it is totally irrelevant, but it lists who the kids were, and for me that's important. I like knowing that. So right now, it's films. I borrowed part of this from somebody else. Videos that you see, hey, that would be, that's short, quick, that would work for so-and-so. Speakers, somebody that you know could come and speak to your club. Games that you could play. I have a Word document. It's Christmas games. So that if we have a Christmas party, we can do that. There's too many to do at one time, but then you can rotate. You may not be able to use the resource right away, but it may be just what you need another time. Save links to web pages with interesting resources. I have a lot of those.
Your resources are famous too. There was one point when I started directing here, and I said, I don't even know the people here. We hadn't moved here that long before. And somebody said, oh, College Dale's got a list. Get the list from College Dale. So there you go. So thank you for your research.
Oh, you're welcome. And that's my thought is, if I know something, I want to share it. So we're not recreating the wheel every time.
Amen.
So people are one of the most valuable resources to the adventure or Pathfinder leader. Most clubs are close to many places that can provide excellent resources for classwork and honors. Materials, recognize the value of books, articles, magazines, the internet, etc. We're going to cover these in more detail as we continue on. So, Seventh-day Adventist church organizations, the church membership, the conference, the union, the division, all of them, and there are resource centers. So the people in your church, you might be amazed at the hobbies, skills, talents that many people in the church have that you don't even know about. If someone, say, collects arrowheads, they could teach all or part of the Indian War honor. I was working with a group of TLTs. They needed to teach an honor. I don't know why they wanted to teach this honor, but they did. They chose it. They wanted to teach houseplants. So I'm like, oh my goodness, they're going to teach it to this unit. Every kid there has to have 5 houseplants.
And that's an Adventist True Achievement one. It's on the Voyager list.
Yes.
Sounds good.
So it's like, okay, they need to teach. but I have to figure out how we're going to get plants and not break the bank. So we have church bead, which could also be, you could church bulletin. So what I did is I requested donations for houseplant cuttings or houseplants, because this was at the end of summer, it was fall, people would be bringing their houseplants in. So it's like, and have you ever brought out, well, the grown-ups here, have you ever brought a houseplant in and it is just, was out on the porch and now it's just gone everywhere and you don't really have room for it anymore in the house. So it was a perfect time. So we put it out there for the church members. Does anyone have houseplants they would be willing to donate, the cuttings, whatever. They brought them.
Cuttings and succulent cuttings.
Exactly. A lady called me. She said, my husband has a greenhouse.
Oh.
He's getting rid of his greenhouse.
No.
Now that was her wish. That was not his wish. So I went to the house. He was willing to, I had cuttings my whole kitchen floor, the dining room table, everywhere I had containers with cuttings. I was asking everyone for cottage cheese, sour cream. I went to the university, do you have cottage cheese containers? Any of them. And I would take hot nails and make the holes in the bottom and learn how to make our own soil. And we had plants for the entire club. I believe I still have one philodendron from when that happened. My cats have not allowed them to continue that well. So, your church membership, ask. You never know what you're going to receive. The conference, office personnel at the conference.
But it's so far away. However,
Yeah.
will they come over?
Yeah,
That's
I know. The camp facilities, we all use Cahada Springs. Sometimes maybe just a little too much. So, camp meetings, youth meetings, these are resources that may, oh, so shoot. Let's go back to here, okay. The Union Division, Advent Source, they do have a lot of resources. It does cost for the most part. General Conference, and then resources like Hancock Center for Youth Ministry or the Center for Youth Evangelism. These are all resources that you can use within the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and you never know what may strike. It's like, oh, look at that. That means I can teach that. Community, youth organizations. For example, Boy or Girl Scouts in Chattanooga. They have the Cherokee area Boy Scout, and they have a store. I've actually gone in there and bought, I think that's where I bought sometimes the Pinewood Derby cars. But they have books, they have their merit badges, but sometimes some of those are good. Boy Scouts in particular, they are way ahead and have been of Pathfinders doing websites. A lot of, and they kind of have a tendency to specialize in different things, and someone may write a really good website on a certain topic. Several of them have Dutch oven cooking, but campfires,
Not
time, a lot of that stuff is out there just to look. Public education, professionals, for example, the mayor, the police chief, the police officer, the fire marshal, the fire department, school teachers. A lot of times, and not just in our schools, but some Adventist teachers teach in public schools. They may have a specialty that works really well with something you're needing. Keep these, in mind and check to see what they can do. We've had several of our public offices, the vice mayor, the mayor, have come and given a talk. I forget what unit needs it, but yes, Christian citizenship. Education, college, university, the library. I don't know what schools are around here. There may be libraries that have, people actually still do use libraries. Printed materials. When I've gone, I'm a collector of brochures, posters, all of the above. So when you go like to national parks, sometimes they have stuff that you can get, you know, butterflies, trees, just different things like that that work well for helping to teach or to give you an idea of how you can teach better with these types of things. Properties, now that sounds like strange, but it's the county, state, national park personnel. They're a huge resource. A few years ago, we were actually working on the national park honor. It has been approved. It's about the ugliest honor that has ever been put on God's green earth. It is so sad. It does not look anything like what we wrote.
You're not talking about the patch itself. You're talking
The
about
patch itself. Because what they've called it is national park, and it's not historical sites of some sites that they're not national parks, but they're
like national historic monuments.
historical monuments. Yeah, they were trying to make it too global. And I talked to the guy that's on the NAD honor committee that approves these. I said, here's where they messed up. It should have been national parks and national and historical monuments, because it does have the Eiffel Tower on it. Yeah, I don't know that we in the United States have any national parks with the Eiffel Tower on it. I don't know, but it's on the patch. Yes. So state and national parks, they're not just for camping. They also include a lot of history.
There's a lot of ranger, state parks and state parks that have ranger programs that
Yes.
and rangers that'll say, give me your honor requirements.
Exactly. And we went to Chickamauga Battlefield, and one of the rangers came and talked to us, and we toured the museum there, saw the videos in there, and while we were, because you have to test out the whatever honor you're writing, and so that's what we were doing.
Cool.
And they were just very, very,
accommodating.
thank you. Yes, my brain went somewhere. So places to go, and this is one thing we've talked about. There's many places that can be used as resources as well. Or they may be a resource, but also get the kids out of where you normally meet. Go someplace else. You may still be working on the honor or some requirements, but you're not doing it sitting at a desk. Schools, museums, libraries, hospitals, nursing homes, parks, lakes, gardens, and even caves. I think y'all are even close. No, it goes the other way. Lost Sea goes the north. Yeah. But by the way, just going to the Lost Sea and spending the night, you have not earned the camping honor. The caving honor. We had one counselor, well, they earned the caving honor. No, they have not. For example, in January, this month, right now, at the Hiawassee Wildlife Refuge, there's places to see sandhill cranes. How many of you have been there to see the sandhill cranes? It's pretty awesome. Highly recommend it. Make an afternoon of it and have someone teach the bird honor at the same time. So what we've done is we take usually every other year the 5th and 6th graders. They go, there's several places, and I'll show you where you can get the information because it's on my website. We take the kids and the ornithologists, the bird watchers, the actual people who do know what they're doing that are there are extremely nice. We had a large group of kids, but they were patient. They let the kids use their scopes. They showed them other birds because there's a bald eagle's nest. There's the sandhill cranes. There's a lot of birds that are there. It's extremely worth your while. And then we go over to the Cherokee Relocation Center. There's also bird watching there. And there's a place to sit, and our guy, he taught the bird honor there while the kids were there. So they've been seeing the birds. They still needed to make a bird feeding station, so we went back to the church and used pine cones with peanut butter or suet tied it up, and they took it home and were able to hang it up to do that, to fulfill all of those requirements. And they were not just sitting in a classroom. So, more sources and materials, books, magazines, pictures, Pinterest. How many of you have a Pinterest thing? All right, now I want to know, how many of you have a Pinterest folder for Pathfinder things? There's actually a bunch of people that do. So I have some, it's like, oh, that craft looks perfect
That's so cool.
for a Pathfinder honor. Okay, so it goes in that folder. So that way I can look at it real quick if I need something, especially if it doesn't fall under a specific honor. Videos, DVDs, CD. So, okay. American Camping Association and Christian Camping International, they have a lot of resources too. Yep.
They do more than just inspect our stuff.
Yep. So if you have the internet, and nobody doesn't have the internet, please tell me. So the NAD Pathfinder website,
Yeah.
the AY Honors Book, has everyone seen the Pathfinder Wiki? No? Oh my goodness. Guess what? I can help you. Maybe. Oh, it's going to stay there.
Sorry, we could teach all those.
So, well, it's not coming up. So,
Oh, this is a bad area to get on.
I'm on the Wi-Fi though. Yeah, so anyway, it'll come up here in a minute.
When we're trying to look at something else, it'll show up.
Yes. So these, and other club websites, I try and look, I'll just Google Pathfinder Club websites and to see what we can get. But here's something important about some of our honors have been, that I think they've mostly been updated. But I know that one of them, marine invertebrates. I used to live in California. What was one of the requirements? Collect 20 marine invertebrates. This is not healthy for the environment, but I did go home with sea stars. Don't take them in the house. So now, yeah, exactly. Now the thing is to take photos of them. You can also draw them. The photos really, with the phones you have, it's so easy. But don't collect the flowers, because then they don't stay there to have seeds grown so that they can make more. About the only thing that's okay to collect, because it's recyclable. You might think what you can collect that's going to come back. Tree leaves, yeah, because that you're not defoliating the entire forest. You're not plugging up the
So insects, you would take pictures too, I suppose. So.
Yeah, you can collect those, but that one's not probably quite as bad. But what are you going to
Kids
do
don't
with
like
it?
watching the insects die though in
Oh.
the paper jars. I don't know. We went back and forth about that. Like we should do insects.
So pictures, it would, yeah, if you could take pictures, that would probably be better.
Yeah, it's cool pictures.
So that's an environmental issue. First aid, make sure you are using the most up-to-date. If you're teaching it yourself right now, Southern, there's one of the teachers there, she has her students teach it.
Teach what?
First aid. We give them the requirements, but stay up to date. For example, tourniquets. Used to, you put a tourniquet on. Then they stopped putting tourniquets on. Now they're putting tourniquets on. So it's back and forth, and the reasoning why. Snake bites. We don't cut and suck the wound. Oops.
I won't stop that. It's shut.
You what?
Oh,
At the very beginning.
Yeah, they used to stop the bleeding. One of the things they used to teach was pressure points. They don't teach pressure points anymore. They don't teach elevating it, which I was very surprised. Yep.
I just had my class just had 2 doctors come and teach my class. It was really good. Like, last weekend?
Yeah.
It was really good. So it's good to have resources like that where you can
Exactly,
have
exactly.
experts in the area
Actually
come
do
and
it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm a CPR and first aid instructor, and I have to update my certification every 2 years.
Thank you in advance for helping us out with that.
I told her I'd ask you, Karen.
Oh,
I'm just being optimistic.
sorry. We're gonna see on that one. Stars. How many know, I should say, how many of you older people know how many planets are there? Us?
A jillion.
No,
8.
exactly, it's 8. How many did it used to be?
9. Oh, it's still 9.
Yeah, so,
Pluto's still a planet.
Yes,
We
Pluto's
we
still
like
planet.
Pluto.
Okay, perfect.
It's not dwarf,
It's a
regular
round
planet.
ball.
so,
It's a planet.
so it goes back and forth. So make sure you are up to date with what,
It's 5:30. If dorm students, if you need to get to the cap, it's 5:30 right now.
I have
Your
ramen noodles
excuse
in my.
I mean,
I have ramen in my.
I need to
I'll be
leave within the next hour.
okay.
We're fine with
Well,
that.
actually, if not,
So, okay, I'm gonna keep pushing along. So, this one, search engine, Google, Bing, Yahoo. Hopefully everyone knows how to, but I have been surprised at how many people are not that good at using one or any of the search engines. When you do use something like this, check your sources. Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's accurate. So don't believe everything. If you are teaching your kids to look for something, make sure that it's a search engine that's suitable for children. Yeah, so make sure that you are keeping your children safe. So how to use a search engine? I realize this may sound basic, but I've been surprised if I change something, how many different things I can find. For example, you're teaching the whale honor, or the marine mammal honor, or cetacean. That isn't a cetacean, not whale. So you can look up marine mammals, hopefully whales comes up, but you can also look up orca whales, and that's going to come up something slightly different. Killer whales, slightly different. Learning about whales. So depending on what you're wanting to do, when I found this picture, I put whale images. I didn't care about, the behavior of an orca. And I actually have seen orcas in the wild, but my pictures didn't look anything like this. So change your search slightly. You're going to find a lot of stuff. And don't, as he has said, keep your resources. So it's like, that's a good one. I don't have time to delve into it. Set yourself up a whale favorite, and then just dump it in. Then you can go back when you have more time to look for it. YouTube, using YouTube to learn. I don't recommend using YouTube videos just to show just to teach an honor. Plunk your kids down here, learn this honor. But for you to learn about your topic so that you can knowledgeably teach. So you can learn how to do a lot of things using YouTube, but it might help you teach. There's something I learned the other day. Oh my goodness, what was it? And it was so easy, didn't I? When you're searching, one thing can lead to another. And you go, oh, if I look at it this way, and so I'm over here down this rabbit trail after a while, because sometimes it's just really interesting. And once again, not everything on YouTube is appropriate for children. Not everything on YouTube is even appropriate for adults. So use caution. Here's some sample searches, fill in the blank. Teaching children about butterflies. So, I mean, you can look for butterflies, but you're wanting to teach children. So what can I do to teach children? Teach children knots. Okay, that's different. And you could teach children butterflies. Learn Dutch oven cooking. That's a slightly different phrase. Teaching kids about origami. I found a couple websites. One, it was a new origami fold for every day of the year. That is a lot of them.
Wow.
Now, setting up stations where they maybe learn how to fold it, it just keeps repeating on how to fold something, that might be appropriate. Teaching knitting, and the only reason I put the YouTube in is just so if I'm not in YouTube, that's where I want it to go. How to tie-dye, YouTube. That's what I learned how to tie-dye by watching YouTube.
I'll just say something real quick. If you're using something on YouTube, I'd encourage you to, if you have the option, save that video rather than clicking on a live link. Because we've experienced that sometimes it'll pop up with an ad first before the video plays, and those ads are not always appropriate for who you're wanting to show it to. So if you have the option of recording that video ahead of time, then you just get the video rather than ads that may be playing throughout.
Very good, very good, thank you. So, many companies have helpful videos on their websites. So REI actually had, it used to be they had video on their website, but now it's an uncommon path for REI, and there's different, they may show hiking, putting up tents, knots, cooking recipes, all those types of things. And they're pretty good. Very essential videos. This is actually has been popping up on my Facebook feed, and I finally was like, okay, let me see what it is. They are some of the best knot tying ideas I've ever seen. And I don't, since I'm having such success, okay, it actually came up now. So knot tying tutorials. Look at all these knots. And like I said, I'm not suggesting you plunk your kids down in front of a YouTube and watch it, but these are knots that they're not in, are regular knots.
You're not projecting.
Okay, don't, never mind, I think I can figure this out. Let's see. Oh, it's because of the, all right, you gurus here, this is where I have trouble.
Have you frozen it?
No, it's, what's happening is because it's two screens.
Yeah.
Oh.
See if you can
Okay.
You can
drag it over.
I'll go to,
You can
Drag it over.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Drag it from where you can see it over to the other, over to the other screen.
okay, maybe it's this way. Nope, that's definitely not it. I'll show you after I get done. We only have 2 more slides,
Oh,
so then I'll
okay.
show you, okay? And actually, I'm going to open this one here too. You won't see it right now, but that's okay. So experiences, make them memorable. Even as it was years ago, anybody went to Cumberland Island? Okay, add it, okay, a couple of you. Add it to your list. It's one of the best places to go in the world.
Yes.
And a few years ago, I went with Pathfinders many times, and I had a group of friends, and I kept trying to get them to go. And one of the guys, he said, "You don't know what guys like. You're a girl." Well, I am a girl, but guess what? When you're doing stuff and planning for teenage boys, and you succeed, guess what? He's wrong. So I said, Steve, so finally we got him to go, him and his family. And we get there, we are not on the island 10 minutes. We're camping, there's beach, there's historical stuff, there's everything. He gets there, he goes, "Oh, this is awesome! We need to come again." And he'd only been there 10 minutes. So have experiences like this so that your kids will want to go again with their families or with somebody else. But most of all, have fun and learn along with your kids. So even though you're trying to teach them stuff, it's amazing how much stuff you can learn. So I am going to, okay. So this is one of the websites I do. called Pathfinder Connection. And what I've done for resources, because he has said, rightly so, have a place for resources. So I put mine on the website. So this is honors that have been taught on YouTube. They have PowerPoints, they have videos, some of them just have worksheets, but there's something because there was an explosion of information that was started during COVID. So I believe there's 115 honors. So there's a lot of honors that you can use to either learn how. In fact, it's pretty funny because the guy who is over the Australian conference, he was doing very short videos. There's what poultry, and it's the cutest thing. But his name's Phil Yates, and he sent me a friend request because I'd asked, is it okay for me to put the links here? So, you know, you can see for Aboriginal lore, this is from the BUC, that's the British Union Conference. They have a YouTube video. They have some worksheets. There's just, like I said, there's about 115 of them, I think. So you've got a lot of resources. These were the groups that were doing them at the time. So I was trying to go back and look. I haven't done it in a while because things started back up. Then I also, for example, let's see if I have the tie-dye honor. Nope, haven't had anything. But the Native American lore is, so what I have done is if I have some ideas on what to do, like here, we live in the South, these are all national parks, and links to their websites so that you can see, or their state parks. Events, if you wanted to go to a powwow, and then craft projects. So what I've tried to do is my resources are out here so that you guys can use them.
You said it's Pathfinder Connections?
Yes, .com.
Okay.
I also have some investiture achievements. So for those in Master Guide, it actually is going, this is my club website, which is pathfindersrus.com. So I put, so like here, Pathfinder Ministries, it does have the basics, links to the basic staff training, listening or online, the books, different things. If you have to read about church heritage, and part of it was to watch some videos. Here's the Tell the World, the videos. I put links to them. Skills development, you can see here, if I could find someone else's ideas, I put it here. There's some pretty big holes. I had said, okay, the website that I'm going to put the videos on from this weekend, do not go looking for them tonight. They will not be up. I'm a little slow at times, but we've got, for one thing, so a few years ago, my friend Sherry Williams, she did there's what you're talking about, is who knows what you're going to get. She taught the postcard honor. So we videoed it, and then I went back and forth between actual postcards that she has collected. She bought a lot of postcards so that she could teach this honor. So we've tried to put stuff out there for you guys to use. Okay, so then we've got, this is the wiki. There's helps, there's investiture achievement. Who was I talking? Okay, one of the requirements is to earn a level 3 honor that you haven't earned before. So an easy way to look for that is you can just sort this by skill level. And so if anybody's going to do abseiling, I have no clue what that is. But it starts with, it's the first one. Oh, then we've got accounting. It's also a level 3.
Oh.
Yeah. So, barbering and hairstyling. Camp safety advanced. Oh, now that one sounds pretty good. So anyway, you can easily look to see through the list to find an honor. And then I had said, and I didn't have the link there, this is the, Vera Essentials. See, I don't know what an alpine butterfly is. See that right there, alpine butterfly knot? That kind of grabs me. And it's like, ooh, I wonder what that is. But I found this, I actually had to Google to find it because I didn't want to go to the Facebook page. So, I think I actually am supposed to have, oh, let's see. I don't know how much time I'm supposed to have. But any questions or ideas and if you go to any of these websites, my email address is at the bottom of the whole page. So you can always get me, whether you want to or not. Oh no, I need to change it. That's the wrong email address. I changed from Compass to EPG. So, any question, and I need to change this. We're not quarantined anymore.
Hey.
By the way, this is our puzzle for Believe It or Not.
You guys are selling.
We are selling this. Our club designed it, and we're selling it to you to either use to put together, or you can buy them and sell them to raise money for your club.
So how much are you selling? Like if we bought them from you, what do you charge and what you recommend we charge?
$20.
You charge $20?
Per puzzle, yes, to sell. We recommend, you can buy them for $60 a case. That's $10 a puzzle, there's 6 in a case. And then you have $10 profit per puzzle. So it's 50 cents. Now, if you buy 2 cases, it's 96, it is after sundown, $96 for 2 cases, that's $8 a puzzle, and you get $12 profit.
That's cool. And we're helping your club and our club.
Yeah, so it's a win-win for everybody. And this is the 3rd puzzle. We've done 3.
Yeah, I got the last one. Actually, it was at the Samaritan Center. I got it for $1.
Buy it for $1, then sell it for $20.
There you go. I actually made it to make sure all the pieces were there.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay, so it hadn't been opened.
Yeah.
Oh.
It had not been opened?
Oh,
but you still want to make sure all the pieces.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Oh,
I do not give away a puzzle. I have not made myself.
Yeah. So
how long are you doing that?
Till they're gone.
Till they're gone, okay.
Yeah, I think we ordered less this year because we ordered so many last time. It was like,
Okay. Who's the contact person?
Sherry Williams. Or there is a right here. See, Believe the Promise puzzle order form. Right there.
Cool. Nice.
Because I am a firm believer in Google Forms.
Sure.
Do you use it to have your kids sign up for stuff?
We need to. We're talking about doing one for, hoodies and shirts.
I've been a Pathfinder in this club for a long time, and I still don't have a Pathfinder shirt.
No, because you haven't signed and set up a Google Forms for me yet.
Is he supposed to do the forms?
No, I picked on her, so she picked on me for not making one.
Yeah, see, we have Black Fleece, the order. I'm really behind on this. So, like here, we have a response form for Teen Challenge. And I actually opened up 9 different spaces, so I don't know if they've been taken or not.
Not female spaces, are they?
I have no idea. I can tell you what's available.
Use a female space?
I don't think that they are assigned. Let's see.
I don't think they are.
There's still 6 openings left.
When I tried to register a female yesterday and it said all the female spots were gone.
Oh, okay. It does, yeah, because it didn't say. Yeah. But I had opened up another. We had a kid that has the Bangkok.
You're in this one,
You're on it.
Okay, Karen, thank you very, very much. Let's give her a round of applause.